Hello, everybody. So Ren, I was happened to be on Facebook this morning, and I saw an ad. Actually, I saw the ad come up a couple times in the last 24 hours. It's for kind of a big fitness chain that's recently kind of moved into our area, and they're kind of advertising, what they have to offer. And I had to kind of chuckle when I saw it because they're making a lot of the same claims that you hear in the fitness industry a lot. That I just wish we could stop talking about it in that way. And the main claim was that, number one, that their programs, you get both strength and cardio in one workout. And then also kind of took you around the facility to show you all the fancy technology they have. And they showed you their fancy treadmills, which apparently are very soft and cushy, which helps to provide you with a low impact workout. And some of the other things that they use also are designed for specifically low impact workouts. And, we've talked about this before, about how we really kind of find that, first of all, for me, since when did we decide that our bodies are so fragile that we have to avoid any kind of high impact? We talk a lot about how our bodies are adaptable and kind of works in both directions. If we don't do high impact or hard exercise, then our bodies will become fragile. But if we challenge our bodies with high impact activity and hard work, then our bodies will become stronger and a lot less fragile. So again, it's sort of frustrating when you hear these things being talked about, especially this idea that you can get cardio and strength all in one workout. It's frustrating. I know you get frustrated with the same thing.
Absolutely, yeah. So it is possible to do so, but it's not like simultaneous type of thing. So if you were looking to kind of cut down on the time it requires you to get both your cardio and strength in one workout instead of two, in my personal opinion, you would start off with like 30 to 45 minutes of weight training and then finish with like a 10-minute cardio type of finisher, like a circuit or something along those lines. But it can never happen simultaneously because you got two opposing metabolic pathways you're working. One requires long periods of rest followed by short, high intensity. That's your weightlifting. And then the other requires minimal to no rest, maybe a steady state workout or an interval program. That's your cardio. So these two contradict one another. And if you're trying to gain both, it can be done, but it's going to be a much slower process if you specialize in one or the other.
Yeah, well, the way I like to look at it is you can do both theoretically, but you're not going to get the most out of either, right?
Right. Exactly.
If you dedicate a workout to being more cardiovascular focused and not worry about trying to do strength training at the same time, you'll get a better cardiovascular workout. At the same time, if you're looking to improve your strength, if you focus on just a specific strength workout without trying to get your heart rate up to a certain level and sustain it at a certain level, you'll get a much better strength workout. And the way I like to look at it is, I think a lot of these programs, when they're talking about getting cardio and strength at the same time, to me, when you really break it down, it's a cardio workout. And for someone who's just starting, yeah, they're going to gain a little bit of strength in the beginning, but the strength is going to hit a ceiling very quickly. Because in the end, even though you may be running on the treadmill or doing a rowing machine and you have a dumbbell in your hand or hands, again, because you're having your heart rate up at such a high level for a sustained period of time, you're not going to be able to maximize the amount of effort or weight you're pushing when it comes to a strength training. So in the end, it really just becomes a cardiovascular workout.
Exactly, yeah. The body only has so many resources that it can pull from, and doing both simultaneously is just not possible if you want to maximize the benefits of one or the other. And so you are not going to be able to lift as much weight. If you're fatigued, if your heart rate's jacked up, your weights are going to be much lower. Your technique is probably going to be much worse if you try to push it. It's just not something that is possible to do simultaneously, but they can be worked simultaneously throughout like a work week, for example. But again, it's going to be a slower process. Your weight's probably going to be lighter. Your recovery is going to be a really huge factor there as well. So, if you're somebody that's trying to run a marathon, your weight training is going to have to take a back seat, and you might even have to cut it out for a little while as you ramp up your mileage, and then vice versa. If you're like somebody that's trying to do a powerlifting meet, running, cycling, swimming, anything like that is just going to absolutely kill the gains, the strength gains that you're trying to get in the gym. So if you're at those extremes, you really have to sacrifice something. But if you're just looking for a more holistic, just general health type of thing, then yes, you need that cardio for that healthy heart. And then you need the strength training to tone your muscles and have better functional strength for anything you do in day-to-day life, like gardening or moving the furniture around the house and so forth.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, certainly there's nothing wrong with just exercising. I mean, I guess any exercise is better than no exercise. I guess the problem I have is the conversation around, kind of separating cardiovascular from strength training. I mean, I always say, look, if you're looking to improve your endurance, as you mentioned, like training for a marathon or a long distance cycling event or triathlon, something like that, that's a very different approach to exercise than if you're just simply trying to get some benefit for your cardiovascular system. Really, it just comes down to working your heart and lungs. And you're gonna work your heart and lungs even if you just lift weights. Your heart rate's gonna increase, you're gonna breathe heavier, there's still a benefit to that. Right? So, it just, I guess the part of it that really kind of tends to get me going is just the claims of, our program is easy. You're going to get it all in one workout. It's low impact. It's safer for you because it's low impact. I think that really comes down to what do you mean by being safer? To me, focusing on low impact could be dangerous because if you're ever, in a situation where your body has to withstand some kind of a high impact, you're not going to be equipped for it. And the same token, doing low impact activity at a high intensity repetitively and over again can still cause injuries, right? And if you're looking to stay healthy, improve your bone density, especially into your later years, you kind of need that heavier intensity, that higher impact activity in order to make sure your body's fully healthy. So it just, kind of just bothers me that there's these ideas out there that the fitness industry just continues to promote. And I just wish we would have a real conversation about strength is strength. Endurance training is endurance training. It's all going to benefit your cardiovascular system. And, if you're looking to exercise because you want to lose weight or burn calories, let's face it, exercise is not the best way to do it. Yes, it can help. Sure, but it's really how you're eating, what you're eating, when you're eating. That's really going to be the best way to kind of control your calorie kind of, balance, I guess. Not just exercise. Sure, yes, it does come into play, but I think a lot of people approach it the wrong way. They look at exercise as, I got to exercise in order to lose weight. And they have maybe not a great diet, and then they're exercising and trying to understand why they're not losing the weight. Anyway, that was an easy, kind of an interesting ad. We always see it all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if we're just perpetuating our fragility if we're continuing to avoid things like impact or heavy lifting, because at some point or another, you're going to come across, like you said, a situation where you're going to need to be able to withstand impact or need to lift up something heavy. And so being prepared, generally speaking, by strength training or doing cardiovascular exercise is going to benefit you greatly in those situations. Of course, now it's easier than ever to avoid doing that, but if you want to avoid fractures, if you want to be able to still go for a hike with your grandkids or whatever, those things are going to be paramount to your, not just adding years to your life, but life to your years. So I think that's important, and we need to make sure that we're getting all those things in, but understanding that, they are different modalities of exercise. They're both important, but they're just, you're not going to be able to cram them both into 1 hour and get the most out of them.
Yeah. And, again, I just think we need to really kind of continue to focus on looking at exercise as really more about health than it is about weight loss or achieving a certain aesthetic, a certain look for your body. Yes, you can achieve an aesthetic through exercise, but in my opinion, that's more of a side effect.
Yeah. If you're looking for like a toned figure, then you need to lift weights. It can be beneficial for weight loss, but at the same time, it is probably 70% what you put in the hole under your nose.
Absolutely.
But again, if most people are looking for that toned look, so you're going to need to lift some weights, and then again, for that general health, you want to mix in a little bit of cardiovascular endurance as well. try to keep those on separate days. If not, break them up into separate pieces of a workout
Yep.
if you have to. But yeah, just understand that that's it's not something to avoid, and they're different modalities. But do them both unless you have a very specific goal you're chasing.
And really try to think of your exercise as something that, like I said, it's something that's good for your health. Doing exercise keeps your body mobile, keeps your body strong, keeps your cardiovascular system fit and healthy. I think the other piece, the aesthetic piece, again, like I said, is more of a side effect of taking proper care of your body, making sure it moves well and is strong, rather than something that you should be focusing on in and of itself. That's why we kind of separate our workouts to very specific workouts, recognizing that, every body has a different need. If you don't move well, you should be focusing more on mobility and your ability to coordinate movement. If your body's not strong, you should focus on exercises to help to improve the strength of your body. If you don't get a lot of cardiovascular work in your day-to-day activity or in your regular type of exercise, you have cardio workouts that are specifically designed to sustain a higher heart rate. I think it makes more sense to look at it from that standpoint.
Yeah. If you're looking for general health and all that, then the thing that you're actively avoiding, you probably need the most. If you're somebody that's not super mobile like myself, you got to start stretching more. If you hate cardio, you're gonna have to start easing into a little bit of that. Even if it's just taking a 10, 15-minute walk a couple times a week to get yourself started. And it doesn't have to consume your life or anything like that, but getting the minimum effective dose at least is gonna pay big dividends to your general health.
Yeah, and I think the bottom line is be careful of the sales pitch that, it's easy. It's not supposed to be easy.
No.
I think anything worth really kind of going for rarely is easy. So anyway, that's our rant for today. But just keep that in mind when you're thinking about where you're going to exercise. It's not always easy. It's not always about avoiding high impact. And think about your general health and how that exercise can specifically impact your health. I think that's the takeaway.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by.